Hello, and welcome to the Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for our three-day Metals and Mining Conference. Our next live presentation is from AMX Exploration. Please note you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides, and you can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings by clicking Book a Meeting in the top toolbar. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Victor Cantore. He's the President and Chief Executive Officer of Amex Exploration, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol AMXEF and on the TSXV under the symbol AMX. Welcome, Victor.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me. Really glad to be here. So I'll start the presentation. I'll go to sharing our screen. So here we go. I mean, we're definitely one of these companies that's making the grade. It's a high grade gold discovery in the province of Quebec. It's much more than a discovery. It's quite advanced right now. We've spent over $100 million in this deposit. We've drilled more than 500,000 meters. Now, just before I get going with all the data, it's very important that this presentation is on our website. It's very important to read all this quality persons and third party data. All the waivers are here. These are forward-looking statements. I am the president and CEO of the company. I will be making forward-looking statements, so it's very important to read the waivers that are in there. So quickly, if I look at the capital structure of the company, we're sitting right now with almost 121 million shares. There's very few options, 1.7 million shares of options. There's 2.8 million warrants. The exercise price of those warrants are around $1.40. Those were the warrants that were issued with the last placement that we did back in October of 2018. Also, there's 4 analysts that cover us. There's Canaccord, Ventum, Haywood, and National Bank. And when it comes to the ESG, what's important is that we did get certified by Ecologo. This is something here in the province of Quebec. It's really best practices for responsible environmental and social best practices. It's not just yourself; it's also all your suppliers have to be certified also. This is pretty much in detail in point form what we're doing. We're still well funded. We're definitely in a safe jurisdiction. We have an experienced team. We're de-risking permitting. Our economics, which we'll go into detail shortly. You're looking at an after-tax NPV of $914 million with an after-tax IRR of 59.7%, and that's at $2,600 gold. Right now gold's trading very close to 3,300. This is definitely considered a high grade deposit. When you look at our high grade zone, which is soon to be called the Champagne Zone, we're going to be naming it the Champagne Zone. You're looking at an average grade of 12 grams per ton. We have been drilling ever since the last exploration. Since we have been doing exploration ever since we've done our last resource report and also our last PA. It is a prolific gold camp. You're right in the middle of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. Infrastructure is really amazing, as you will see, and it is a district scale property. We've just added some property into that. When we come to our major shareholders, Eric Sprott is well over 12% right now. Eldorado's at 9.9%. What's really nice to see also, about a week ago, Eric Sprott purchased another $1.4 million worth of stock. It was reported in our local paper here in the Globe and Mail. It's a national paper. This is just our seasoned management team, technical experts also. Every person does bring in their own expertise. We have from capital markets to mining engineers, and definitely there's going to be changes going forward. We're gonna continue adding mining people to our board and capital markets experts to our board. When you look at the project where it's located, so it's right here where it's basically right here. We're right in the middle of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. As you can see, there's mines everywhere around. The closest mine is actually here. This is Hecla's Casa Berardi mine. This is Detour Lake that belongs to Agnico. Holt Holloway is also down here, and here you're in the Val-d'Or area. There's many mines here, including Eldorado's Lamaque mine. Eldorado is one of our major shareholders. Also, they own 9.9%. And also you've got IAMGOLD's Westwood facilities down here. So this is just really to show where we're located. Where there's great infrastructure, there's existing mills in the area, and we're sitting right in the middle. We're right beside the old Normetal mine. So this is the Normetal, the city of Normetal, and as you can see here, houses were built right alongside this tailings pond. I love calling this our golf course. It's not a golf course. It's actually a completely rehabilitated tailings. And you can see that the way communities and tailings can work side by side when things are done properly. What's really nice to note here is that our course shed is right here. It's right in the middle of the town. Our access road to the property is right here. And as we we'll go to the next slide. Just recently, we purchased another property. We've actually expanded. We went from 45 square kilometers to 197 square kilometers. Lot of as we go to the next slide, you'll see that there's right now this is the actual Perron property. Everywhere where you see here in red is where the existing resource is. We have been drilling ever since June 30 when the cutoff was. And this is the new property where we've continued. It's contiguous to us. There are historical, there's historical sonic drilling. There's historical copper showings. There's gold results. So we're really excited to start working on that property. But right now we're also very focused on looking at the economics of our project and looking at the path to production to take advantage of this elevated of these gold prices, which I think are going to continue going a lot higher. One of the reasons why we purchased this, where we purchased this property, if you look here where it's this red stuff here, this is where the Perron project is right now. That's where all the deposit is. And the structural engineer, his interpretation is that there seems to be another Beaupré block on the other side. So we'll find out. That's what's really excited us. It's a large property, 197 square kilometers. This is the historical resource where there's 1,639,000 ounces from measured and indicated and also inferred. We are looking to update both the resource and the PEA coming up shortly. That's why we keep talking about a path to production. When you look at the high grade zone, which will be changed to the Champagne zone, you're looking at a total of 750,000 ounces. Between indicated and measured is 336,000 ounces, and inferred is 415,000 ounces. So on the measured and indicated, you're looking at 12 grams per ton, and you're looking at 10.49 on the inferred side. This is all our zones. The majority of the zones, and as you can tell, there's not much. As we spin this around, this is where we would lay down the equipment. That's where it's planned to put in the portal. As you can tell, it's very dry land. We're not encroaching any lakes, river, or streams where the gold zones are. As you look at the mineralized system, this is a plan view. And you see where all the zones are now from end to end. This is about 4.3 kilometers. There's well over 20 kilometers of faults on our zone. We've basically explored about 4.5 kilometers right now. And when you look at this from a longitudinal, there's a lot of drilling that still can be done to increase this. But what's important, the important thing is that you can turn this you can turn this into a mine. The economic study shows that you've got a positive preliminary economic assessment, and eventually we're going to move it to a feasibility study. So that's the important thing, is that you can turn this into a mine, start becoming cash flow positive. You've got really good gold prices. Our base case was done at $2,000 gold, so it'll be a very profitable mine. This again, it's showing all the gold zones that are available. If I go into the details now, so when we did the PA, we based it on 1,750 ton per day mill. You're looking at these are completely diluted grades. You're looking at the 5.26 grams per ton. Now, when we would do more production in the years 1 to 5. You're looking at 6.49 grams per ton. You'd be producing about an average annual production of 101,000 ounces per year. Year 1 to 5, you'd be producing around 124,000 ounces. The numbers are really impressive here. Is when you look at your all-in sustaining cost of $807 US. That is very impressive. From years 1 to 5, your all-in sustaining cost is $739. And when you're looking at gold right now, sitting over $3,000, it's quite impressive. Our capex is $229 million, and your life of mine sustaining capex would be another $238 million. When you look at your pre-tax IRR here, 59.5%. The pre-tax NPV is at 948 million. This is all at $2,000. On one of the next slides, I'll be able to show you what it is at $2,600. So when you look at the $2,600 spot, which is way below where we're trading right now, and using $1.39 as an exchange rate. If we go to the after-tax NPV, you're looking at $914 million. We're currently trading around $145 million. Like there's a lot of room for growth. Our after-tax IRR is 59.7%. If you look at our pre-tax payback period, you're basically at half 0.5 when you're using spot at $2,600. And a ratio that's really important to look at is also your after-tax NPV to your capex. So at $2,000, we're at 2.3. Usually a rule of thumb is you're looking at around 2. And when you look at when you're using at $2,600, it's 4.4 times. This basically shows you that it on a risk appetite it is a very low risk project with a relatively low capex project. When we get to metallurgy is very important also. You're looking at 99% recovery when you're looking at the high grade zone, which will be called the Champagne zone, and that's for both gold and silver. And an important thing to note is that we don't include silver in any of our numbers. It's really been all the gold recoveries, and this is just for the Champagne zone. When we go to the rest of the zones, so these numbers here on this side here are the numbers for the gold recovery. So as you can tell, even all the other zones, the gold recoveries are quite impressive. Also, they're way up there. And also important to note is that for the study we used 95%. The numbers that you see here on the right side, this is the recovery for silver, and the numbers are much lower than gold. But that's for these zones here. For the high grade zone, the silver is also recovered at the 95% level. We also have a VMS discovery on our project. We haven't done many holes. We've done about a dozen holes, and basically was to prove out that the grades, some of the grades that we've been getting there from those holes have been pretty much similar to what the old Normital mine is. And with the all-in sustaining cost being so low, I mean, one of the major items that actually makes our gold cost at those levels is because you've got infrastructure, you're right beside the town, so you're right beside the town of Normetal. You're 23 minutes away from the town of Lasar, so you wouldn't need a mining camp. People can go home at night. That to me is really important. And later on, we can also start looking at working on this on this copper asset that's right on the project. So important to look at. This if I just, without talking about the new project that we discovered, when you look at that we purchased, when you look at this, I mean, there's still so much work to do on all the zone here on the west side. There's a lot of drilling here to do to make new discoveries. Everywhere where it's in the red, this is where we made all the discoveries in the project. You've got an electrical transformer station that's right beside the town. This is about 5 kilometers. This transformer station is about 5 kilometers from where we want to put down the ramp. It's about 4 kilometers from the town, and this is also the same same electrical station that feeds the Casa Berardi mine, that's owned by Hecla, which is about 60 kilometers north of here. Core Shed is right in town. It's only like 4 kilometers from where all our deposits are, and pretty much this is the town of Lasar, which is 23 minutes away. There is an airport over here, and there's a workforce here. So that's pretty much our story. I mean, that's what it is. It's high grade gold, near term producer. You're right in your infrastructure. You've got water, you've got electricity, and the workforce is actually very, very important that you have a workforce close by, because you don't need a mining camps, you don't need to fly in, fly out. And I think that concludes our presentation. Open it up to questions for anybody that has questions. So I'm gonna be looking at some of the questions. Is there any update regarding the bulk sample? Also, how many additional meters will be included in the new MRE? So all that information we're gonna be unveiling. We're gonna be unveiling all of that. It's all coming. It's all going to be coming as we're going forward. As we have more information on that, we will be putting it out through press releases. So here I have another question. Hi Victor, as the stock price sits near multi-year lows, what's the exploration financing strategy going forward in order to minimize dilution? Further, from your point of view, how do you explain the undervaluation in the face of exceptional PA numbers and near peak gold prices? So our stock price has begun to recover from its lows. I think there was a misunderstanding on our project when we put out our MRE. Yes, could have we expected more ounces? Absolutely. But the important part is that the reason we put out the PA is because it actually shows that the project is a mine and you can move forward as a mine. I think the misunderstanding there is that maybe there's a misunderstanding that people thought we had to spend another $100 million in drilling to find more ounces. Where I think the strategy, and again, we're going to be unveiling all the strategy as we're going forward. But this is a project now that you can actually put this into production, and with all the free cash flow, as you've seen in some of those numbers, you go on our PowerPoint presentation. That's how you would do an aggressive drill program. We have enough money. We are financed. In drilling, the flow through, we do have to spend it by the end of the year. We're well financed, and we continue moving forward. There's another question: is what is Eric Sprott ownership in Amex? So his ownership is a little over 12%, and he has recently added to his position to stay well above 12%. He's asking, will there be a financing coming up? These are things that we're going to unveil later on. There's, we can continue moving forward, and it's something that we're going to continue moving forward, and we're going to unveil this as we go on. Our real focus right now is, you've got gold prices that are really advantageous to us. It's time to look at how to put the project into production and start to try to generate free cash flow with the least dilution possible. And that's definitely the path that we're gonna be taking. There's a question here from it says, what are the status of the royalty on the original Perron property? It's what we've put in the economic study. There's royalties of approximately 1.5%, and that's what we're basing it on. That's what we're basing it on. That's what we're going on. The last financials, the financials that we're so they want to know how much money is in treasury. It's very simple. It's just to go look at the. I don't have the exact last numbers. I still remember the December 31st numbers. I know we did file one recently. It's all on our latest financials, and again. With this thing, when it comes to the royalty, what's important to look at is that we've taken consideration that there is a royalty on the property, and these numbers are based on, like, there's already that royalty is being deducted. So in the future, if there is no royalty, all the better. It'll just be more money that's going to be in there. So there's some question, will some caps be lifted in the new MRE? Thank you. Again, these are all questions that will be unveiled in the future. In the coming future, we're going to be unveiling all this. It's all going to be coming out in the new MRE and the new economic study, which will follow the MRE. So there's a question about what about your permitting? So as you've seen on our last press release, where we actually hired a company that's going to start the environmental permitting. So we already started it. That's part of the process. It'll be an ongoing process, and we're definitely looking at ways where we can move forward and fast track. The governments right now are very open to fast tracking and bringing projects to production. The fact that our project is right beside existing infrastructure. We're close enough to the city. We're close enough to the city of town, or the town of Normantal, to take advantage of its infrastructure, but we're far enough not to disturb it. When you're 4 or 5 kilometers away, which is perfect, so you can take advantage of that and not disturb the residents, and the residents, there'll be a lot of employment that's going to come there. So what is the plan? What is the plan forward? That is the plan forward. It's a 2-tiered plan. We will continue exploration. We know that there's more ounces on this project. We're going to continue drilling to find more ounces, and at the same time, we're going to start the path towards production, as we said in our last press release. And that's why we started news on that we've hired for environmental permitting. We're definitely going to be working with the government agencies to try to move this project forward as fast and as diligent as possible in a very responsible way. I think that pretty much concludes I think that pretty much concludes that. There's a question here about Amex needs about 225 million Canadian dollars to start producing at Perron. Again, that's what the economic study says. We're going to be unveiling the way that we would like to put this project into production, and you will see that in the in the press releases that are going to be forthcoming in the very near future. We have to take advantage of this gold price, and that's what we're gonna do. I thank you very much for everybody for attending. I thank the OTC markets for having us here, and I think this pretty much concludes this.